So today we shall do the poem Real Estate by Sebastian. It has been translated into English by B. Kerala. Sebastian, the young Malayalam poet, has published 14 books of poetry. A participant in many poetry festivals across the country, he has received numerous prizes for his poetry. He was the editor of the book entitled 30 Young Poets. His poems have also been translated into English and Hindi. About the poem Real Estate, we now live in an age of Anthropocene, where man is seen as a significant force in altering the environment. Man is cutting off the branch he's sitting on. So, man in his Faustian contract has sold his soul for commercializing Mother Earth. Just like the mother, the earth also has always been taken for granted in that her resources are selfishly extracted and used mindlessly. This poem portrays the view of earth from an anthropocentric perspective as man seeks to own the earth, thinking that it is his and exploits and pollutes the various resources of the earth. The poet in this poem tries to create another world for future generations by putting together the sky and the river together and creating new life from there. The poem is a statement on the commercialization of nature, as Wordsworth had stated long back in his poem, The World is Too Much with Us. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. So, this is how the poem goes. Real estate. Clear, limpid stream, waveless, clear, cloudless sky, in perfect harmony. No time to waste. Before the river swells with waves, let's lift it gently, no jerking, no spilling, before the clouds fill the sky. Let's lower it softly, no part falling off or slipping off our hands. At some point in the vast void, let's put them one on top of the other and glue them hard that they don't part again. O men of trade, buying and selling, you have eaten up the earth. Listen to my humble plea. Don't cast your covetous eyes on this. So the poet begins by referring to a limpid stream, a clear, limpid stream. Limpid stream means a completely clear and transparent stream. And the word used in the original Malayalam was pura, meaning river. So here the poet envisions a clear stream that is waveless, and studies have indicated that global warming is actually changing the global wave climate, making waves stronger. So, stronger waves are indicative of increased global warming. This shows that wave power is potentially a valuable climate change indicator. So, the poet calls for a waveless stream, and he also calls for a cloudless, clear sky, which in this case means symbolically a sky without smoke or pollution. Also, the expression clouds hover over someone's head means that someone is surrounded by negativity or pessimism. So, the current state of the ecosystem is such that clouds hover over man, thinking of the future of Mother Earth. So the poet longs to see such a river and sky put together in perfect harmony. He says there's no more time to waste because it's high time. We need to lift the river before it swells with waves, and gently, no jerking or spilling from our side. And then we need to lower the sky softly so that no part fell off at some point in the vast void. This void has various implications here. It may stand for the holes created by man, like the one in the ozone layer. What is the ozone layer? It is a region of exceptionally depleted ozone in the stratosphere, caused by the increased use of burning of fossil fuels and the increased emission of CFCs or chlorofluorocarbons. And this void may also stand as a metaphor for the void created by man in nature. And he says, in this space of nothingness, let us create a new world by putting together this pristine sky on top of the river and glue them together so that they don't part again. And no one can ever create a void in them or glue them in such a way that no human being has a space to enter. So, why does the poet only refer to the sky and the river here and not to the land? This is because land has been completely commercialized by man. So instead, he chooses to create a new world by sticking the sky and the river together that has not yet been commercialized by man. And then he addresses the men with a business mentality and profit driven motives. O men of trade, with your greed and avarice, with your voracious attitude, you have eaten up the earth, consuming every bit of it. The poet requests these men not to cast their covetous eyes or greedy eyes on this new world preserved for future generations. In the original Malayalam, the phrase used was Kannur, meaning don't cast the evil eye. So, through this reference of casting the evil eye, man's stature is reduced to that of Satan, who was jealous as he saw the pristine beauty of Eden. So, you can see that in that particular, if you have referred to Paradise Lost or Christian theology or Islam, Satan was so jealous of Eden that was made exclusively for man that he became jealous and he forced man to eat the forbidden fruit that caused the downfall of Eden. So, with making a subtle reference to this myth, the fall of Eden works on a parallel with the fall of Mother Earth as caused by human beings. Now, let us look at what the poet himself has to say on this poem. This has been translated into English by me. So he says, in an age of globalization, everything has been commercialized. The whole of earth and nature have been commodified. It has not only polluted the land, but the sky and the air. The manipulation and greed of business and commercialization has contributed to the disintegration of nature. The earth's purity has been degraded. A tiny virus has succeeded now, to some extent, in restoring the freshness of the river and the sky. Lifting such a spotless river and lowering such a pristine sky, the poet in this poem tries to create a new world to save the old one. It will be a world beyond the reach of man's profit driven and greedy eyes. He addresses the monopolistic humans of a pseudo modern existence and tells them not to cast the evil eye on this world. Now, what is the significance of the title real estate? Real estate is generally used to refer to immovable property in the form of land or buildings over which man claims ownership and where land is usually commercialized. Significantly, the poet seems to refer only to the river and sky only in the poem Real Estate. He means to say that man has commercialized land so much over the years, and his greed over land has led to so many wars that the poet seeks to build a new world with only the sky and the river are glued together, and no man can enter that space. Robert Frost had also mentioned that it is absurd to claim ownership of the land, as absurd a claim it would be to claim ownership of the sky and the rivers. In a similar vein, Sebastian suggests through this poem that the sky and the rivers be kept beyond the reach of commercialization. Perhaps the poet's voice is prophetic because we now live in times where even oxygen or our very breath is being taxed. There is a GST on our breath. So, this poem holds special significance in these pandemic times. So, thank you so much, and that's all for today.